Hi everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani once again from learn-automation.com. Guys, today we are going to start a new series on API testing using Playwright. And if you are struggling with API testing with Playwright, then watch this series because we will discuss end-to-end how we can do API testing using Playwright, different type of APIs, different type of authentication, different type of authorizations, and how you can use them in your CI/CD pipeline. It's going to be a very detailed series. Now, before we start, there's a small disclaimer. The series will be on with JavaScript, okay? Now, if you have no idea about JavaScript, then I have a detailed series on JavaScript. And we already have a detailed series on web automation using Playwright with JavaScript. So if you have no idea, then I would recommend I have close to 28 videos where you will understand web automation. Now this series with API. And I'm assuming that you have JavaScript installed. I'm assuming that you have VS Code installed. If not, but that also have a video. So this is an ongoing series. Make sure you have JavaScript and VS Code ready. If not, I want you to pause this video and at least download VS Code and Node.js, and then you can continue. So I will show you setup from the scratch. And if you already have a setup, you can move to the second part of this video where I have directly discussed how you can test APIs. But if not, follow the instruction properly, create a dedicated workspace and create a new project. But if you want to continue with the existing project also, you can do that. Okay. So let me show you. This is one folder which I created called Playwright API. A new folder. You can go with existing folder too. Now I will click on get started. I want to install Playwright first so that I can start making API calls. Just one command and we are good to go. You can see we have one command called npm init playwright @latest. So I will copy this command, come back to my VS Code. I will open terminal. If you don't find terminal, you can start terminal directly from here. Let me paste here. So what we are doing guys here, npm init means initialize, Playwright what we want to install, @latest means latest version of Playwright. Let's say due to compatibility issues, you want to go with the previous versions, you can mention the version here as well. For example, I want to go with 1.39.0, just a random version. Maybe I want to go with 1.42.0. Now I want to go with latest. So hit enter. Now the moment you hit enter, it says getting started with a new project. Do you want to continue with TypeScript or JavaScript? I will say JavaScript. In case if you want to go with TypeScript, please go with TypeScript if you have idea. Now it says where exactly you want to put your end-to-end test. By default, it will create one folder called tests. I will say yes. Do you want GitHub Actions? I will say yes. It says, do you want to install Playwright browsers? In case if you say no, you can install later on using this command as well. As of now, I will not make any changes, say true. You can see it created this folder structure. I'm getting some permission issues that says fail to install browser. So I will run with sudo command. But it actually created my playwright.config.js file, package.json file. It also created some sample test, but it failed to install browser because of permission issues. So this command, which is npx playwright install, I will do sudo and then hit enter. It says enter my system password. Yep. Now, since I already have browsers, it has not downloaded. In your case, if you don't have browsers downloaded, it will take a couple of seconds. It will download all the browsers and then you can get started. Now, let me show you the folder structure. If you're already aware of this, move to the second part of this video. But if you are completely new, watch this section carefully. In the package.json file, we got latest version of Playwright, which is 1.55.1. You might get a new version if you watch this video at later stage, which is perfectly fine. Go with the latest version. In case if you get some compatibility issues, you downgrade. For example, 1.49, 1.43 and so on. As of now, I'll go with the latest version. Playwright.config.js file. This is the main configuration file that we will be using, not now, but moving forward. So if you're doing web automation, then you must be familiar with, you can run the test in fully parallel mode. You can do a retry, you can decide workers, reporter. But if you're watching this series till then, eventually you will get to know which properties or which config file is important for you for API testing. As of now, do not touch this. I will tell you when to use what. Now these are the two important folders. By default, it has given you some sample tests, right? These are tests related to web automation. So I'm going to delete this folder altogether. So we got only one test, and this test is also related to web automation. So I'm going to remove everything and we'll start from the scratch. So let me rename this, or I can delete and create from the scratch. So we have empty test folder. I'm going to create a new file and we'll start with getcall.spec.js file. Now let's start writing. So first of all, I need to import two important functions. One is test function. So I will say import curly bracket open and close, write test here, comma, expect. I need test function and expect function. And these functions will be coming from Playwright officially that we installed. So you need to mention here from. The moment you put double quotes, it will give you which module you want to use. I will say go with Playwright test. Now we'll start writing tests. So the moment I type test here, so this is the text function that we are taking directly from Playwright. Now if you put pair of parentheses, you will see the first argument is the title. You can give title and body, or you can give title, then details, then body. And they have given how you can use it. We will be creating asynchronous function. Here they're talking about page, but for API testing, we will take one additional fixture called request, which anyways I will show you. So the first argument I will say get or test get API, comma, and we'll write one asynchronous function. So we'll write async, we'll give a function, and now curly bracket open and close. Now here you have to accept one argument, which is basically your fixture. Now if you're dealing with web automation, you will be using page fixture. If you're using API, then you will be using request fixture. And they have given you one examples. See how you can make a post call, how you can pass data. We'll go with get call first, then we'll go with post. Now if you have no idea about what is fixture, this is their official documentation. By default, Playwright will provide you predefined fixture that you're likely to use most of the time. For web automation, we have used page, context, browser, and browser name. For API, we are using this request fixture. This is the request fixture we have. So let me write await, because all these functions that we will be calling, they will return as the promise. So I will use await. I will write request, which is this fixture. And the moment I put dot, you can see now these are predefined methods which Playwright have provided. You can make a get call, post, put, patch, delete, and so on. We'll go with get call. Now you have to provide the URL, the API endpoint, and these are some additional argument that you can pass. So you can pass data, you can pass fail on a status code, you can pass headers, form data, so many things, which is required not at this moment, but at later stage. Important part is this promise. So this will return a promise. So we need to wait until this promise is not getting resolved. So that is the reason we are putting await here. Now let me use one API which we can use. So let me open my browser. And this is one API that I want to hit. It's a get call. The moment I hit this API, I should get user ID, title, and the body. Right? I will copy this. I will just pass here. Now Once this promise is resolved, I want to store this response in a variable called, let's say, RESP. Now, if I simply try to print this, now how do you run this test? This is important. So you can see this option which I'm getting by default, click to run test. Since I already have a plugin which is helping me to run this. If you don't have this plugin, you can click on terminal, start a new terminal, and write npx playwright test. Then you say which folder. So basically we have a folder here called test folder, right? So I will say go to test folder and execute this get call.spec.js. The moment I hit enter, you can see it executed 3 times. So if you see, I'm getting response 200 okay. And if I scroll down, you're getting so many things, right? I will tell you how to shortlist and how to capture a particular detail. But notice one part, it executed thrice. One time on Firefox, one time on Chromium, and one time on WebKit. How it is taking 3 browsers. See, by default, Playwright uses this something called project. Each and every API call that you're running, it is running on 3 browsers. Now, let's say I don't want, I can basically comment these two. I will remove this comma, use slash star, and same thing, star slash. It means use only one browser. Again, if I open terminal, it says passed. Obviously, it will show passed because we have not added any assertion, but we got all the details. If you want to see the report, just execute this command, npx playwright show report, and just before hooks, it made this API call, and after hooks. So before hook, it actually created this fixture, it has removed this fixture, and this your API call. So behind the scene, it uses browsers to make API call. So make sure at least you get some data. Now I want to show you how you can get the body. So let's type response dot. You can see we have something called body. Now I can capture body, I can capture headers, I can capture headers as an array, JSON, OK status, status as a number, like status as numbers, status text URL, and so on. So let's go ahead with the body. If I just say give me the body, I don't need all, just give me the body. So let me put await here because it returns promise, and let me store this in a variable. Let me use response body. So guys, a small disclaimer, you will not be using this directly because I will show you the response and you will see it will give you a buffer data. Sorry, not this report part. Let me run this command. Can you see we got buffer data? And obviously we cannot verify this. And if you put mouse over, it says returns the buffer with response body. I need proper JSON body, right? So we'll not use this, but just want to show you that how these methods can be called once you get the response. For the time being, I will comment this. If I say response.json, now you will get proper JSON response. It returns the JSON representation of the response body. And since this also returns a promise, we need await here. Await response.json. And let me store this in a variable, and I will say response in JSON format. Let me print this response JSON. Clear the previous commands, execute, and this is what I got. This is what I was expecting, right? I should get user ID, title, and the body. You can cross check directly from here. Now, once you get the JSON, now obviously I can parse. So I will show you how you can put the verification as well. But let me show you a couple of important methods that you will be using. Let me write down here. Get the response as JSON body. Now what about headers? So again, if I say response dot, I want to capture all the headers from the response. This also returns me, okay, this is not returning me any promise, right? So I can directly store into a variable and I will say response headers. Let me print this. And just to give you clean output, as of now, the previous command, I will comment this. Let me execute again. Now if you see, we got all the headers which is coming from response. So I got the date, I got the connection, I got the expiry, I also got the server details, I also got the age and so on. So in case if you have any requirement where you need to capture particular headers and verify, you can do that. So this is giving you headers. We also have a method called headers as array. So that also I will show you. Now you must be wondering, Mukesh, tell me how do we capture response code? How do we capture message? That also I will show you. But understand these methods because that will give you a different perspective. So headers will give you all the headers, right? Key value pair. But now you will be getting array of headers so that you can traverse if you want. So if I again store response headers as array, this time let me print this. Clear the previous one, execute again. So you can see we got array of headers. Can you see this array? And I can use them. Clear? Let me clear this field and now let me show you the most important methods that we will be using every single day. This is based on a requirement you capture and continue. Now if I show you this response and if I say give me the status. So this will give me the status. Let me store this in a variable again called response status. Let me comment this. Let me print this status. Response status. So it gave me 200, right? So for get API, we got 200, but let's say you have a post call, you want 201, you have a delete call, you want 204. Based on whatever status you're getting from server, you will get the response code and you can put verification. How to put verification also I will show you. But let me show you a few more methods. Now if I say response dot status text, what is the status text? So I will again store this in a variable response status text. You can directly use console.log as well. You don't need to store in a variable. Just to make it more easier, more readable, I'm storing in a variable and then I'm printing. So I got OK. Here I got the status code 200, 404, 501, 500. But here I'm getting the text OK, created, no content, and so on. Okay, so we understood how do we capture this. Now the most important part, how do we put verification, right? So I've rewritten the code based on the functionality. I'm just capturing here and I'm just printing here. Let me put the first verification that we do every single day is the checking the response code, right? I got the response code 200. So if you see, we have used expect, right? This is basically for verification. We have consumed test, so it is highlighted in blue color. This is light blue, means we have not used it. You have declared but not used. So let's use this. I will say expect. Let's say I want to check the status code. This will return me 200, right? Now I will check here and I will say this status code 2B, and now I can give particular value. For example, I can say it should be 200. If it is 200, it will pass. If anything else, it will fail. So again, if I go back to terminal and if I execute now, it will pass. But if I make, let's say I'm expecting 201, it will fail. And it says expected was 201, but received 200. So it failed. You can see expect failed. Obviously, I have failed purposefully. In your case, in case if a API does not work, it will fail. This is 200, which is coming from API, and this is expected. Let's say again, if I give 404, it will fail. So make sure you give what is expected. In case actual versus expected does not match, it will fail. Now, what about the status text? So if I execute now, you can see I'm getting status text as OK. I want to verify this as well. So I will say expect this response status text dot to be OK. It should be OK with all in caps. Now before I execute this, it should not be status code, it should be status text. Yeah. If I execute now, passed. But let's say if I'm expecting created, this is actual, this is expected, it will fail. Same thing, it says received OK, expected was created. Again, just to show you, I have made the changes, but you put the assertions according to requirement. Now this API also have very interesting functionality. Okay, so if I use expect and if I use this response that we captured, here we have something called OK. Now if you notice what this OK returns, this OK returns always returns to Boolean. So contains a Boolean stating whether the response was successful in the range of 200 to 299. So since we are getting 200, this will return me OK, which means true. So I will check here. We have something called to be truthy. So this will return me true. If it is truthy, it will pass, otherwise it will fail. Yeah, it passed here. Now the most important part again, what about this body? Because I want the JSON response and then I want to verify these fields, right? User ID should be 1, ID should be 1, title should contains, let's say this, body should contains, let's say this. How do we do this? So again, you can use expect. We captured the JSON response in this variable, right? Response JSON. So I will say inside this JSON response, you will see one method called to have property. Now I can say go and check. One second. Let me minimize this here. So I can give a property and I can give the value as well. Let go and check whether we have this property. This property have this value or not. So I can do both. Ensure the property at provided key path exists. So I will check the response that I got. User ID should be the key and the value should be what? 1. execute passed because we are giving valid. If I give 10 here, now since the response does not have user ID 10, it is 1, right? So it will fail. See, it says expected was 10 but found 1. In the same way, you can give all these fields, guys. Let's say ID also I want to check 1. So I will say it should be ID. ID should be 1. Now let's say this title I'm expecting this lengthy value. So let me copy this. I will say response should have a property called title, and the title should be this. Now the last part, I want to capture this body, but I don't want to give the complete body. Maybe I want to give the partial. You can do the partiality here as well, but I will check whether my body contains this or not. So what we will do, we will say expect response JSON. I want to capture body. This body, guys. Okay. So this is my JSON key value. I'm giving key as body. So it will capture the body, and I will check, does it contain, so to contains this. If I execute now, see guys, I'm giving all the valid data, so it's running fine. Now I'm saying it should contains Mukesh Otwani. Obviously it contains this, but does not contains Mukesh Otwani, so this time it will fail. And it says same thing. Expected was this, but it found this, and will fail. So let me remove this Mukesh Otwani. And one more time, executed. And if I want to see the report, I can execute this command. If I open this, before hook, after hook, this is our API call, and these are so many assertions, right? Status code, then status text, okay, should be true, should have this property, this property, this property, and this is partial body. So these are the basic you should be aware before we move forward, because at the end of the day, if you are not putting proper validation, it is of no use. So I want you to give a try. Take any API that you want to automate. First try with get API. Once you're comfortable, then in the upcoming videos, anyways, I will show you how you can make a post call, how you can pass data from different formats, how you can put assertions, so on. And one important part, the assertions that I made here today is with JSON response. Okay. I'm not using body because this is buffered response. I captured the proper response and then I'm putting all assertions. Yeah, that's all about this video. If you like this video, please share with your friends, colleagues who are learning Playwright and they want to perform API testing. And I want you to watch this series till then. You will be getting very new perspective that how APIs can be tested properly with Playwright. Very interesting, very easy to use. So in case if you have any custom requirement, you're not able to automate, let me know in the comment section and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.